world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. 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 We are all looking for adventure.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Gravity Design Lab studio. I'm Brian, aka BigPapaSmall. We got a good one for you today. We'll recap the football season and look at what is ahead for them. We'll recap the basketball team's trip to the Bahamas and look ahead to Duke. It's a big matchup. Let's get into it. All right, so the football season ended with a couple of games against FIU and Mizzou the past couple of weeks, and took care of business against FIU, 44-20 for the win, which it was expected. They didn't cover, but they won, so that's what's important right now, I guess, if you want to. What we did see, we saw Rocket and R-Dub both got hurt and went down. That's probably the last time we see Rocket in an Arkansas uniform. I don't see him coming back because he'll probably get drafted this year. R-Dub, he'll be back, so hopefully he gets speedy recovery and all that, and he's ready to go by next season. And luckily, we have a long off season to heal up and figure out some things. We saw KJ break a couple of records for passing yards and passing touchdowns. The stat leaders for the game were KJ with 187 passing yards. Isaiah had 101 yards on the ground as a freshman. He was out there running hard. That's great to see for the future. KJ was right behind him with 90 yards himself. We're not sure if he'll be back or not. I kind of have a feeling he won't be. Um, if I were him, I'd want to know who the OC is and what kind of lineman we're bringing in, because I'm not going to get beat up like that again if I'm him. And of course, Armstrong was the leading receiver again with 67 yards on that one. And then we move ahead to the Black Friday rivalry of the Battle Line rivalry. I'm one of those guys. I never really chalked it up to much, but I mean they've been kind of whooping our tail, so it's hard to really get up for a rivalry whenever it's one sided like that. But that game once again, I I thought going into it, I was like, this is the easiest pregame speech you have. You say you have nothing to lose. Let's go out there and let's punch him in the mouth. Now he may have said that because that's literally what was happening. They were out there fighting and carrying on and just got absolutely destroyed by Schrader. For he got 219 yards of rushing, and most of that came in the first half, which is insane. He's former walk on. They've talked and talked and talked about that storyline. His former walk on. They had a booster say you need to give, if you want this money, you need to give him a scholarship. Blah 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 blah. And or you need to let him walk on. It wasn't even a scholarship. You need to let him walk on. And so he walked on. Now he's on scholarship and really should be in the Heisman talk because he's a stud. He's a running back. He ran all over us, but we saw KJ go down early in that one. I think he had 100% passing completion. He had 2 yards on two completions, which pretty much is the story of the game. He hyperextended his knee and went down, and there's no reason to risk a further injury on that. So Criswell came in, and he was running for his life. He had a few fumbles and some of that bad stuff, but I mean he was running for his life immediately. He had 96 yards passing. He had one passing touchdown late in trash time, but I mean it still counts, I guess. You saw Isaiah, he ran for 80 yards and a touchdown, his first touchdown as a Razorback, and he that's great. It was also in trash time, but I mean, as a freshman, getting that experience, getting the feel of being in the end zone, I mean, that's not a bad thing. I'll take that. And I mean, just a lopsided loss, 48-14, and it could have been worse. We scored 14 points in the fourth quarter there. I mean, time running down, and that was it. And then we had another turnover to get them in victory formation. But yeah, that was a rough one. That was a burn the tapes. If you had another game coming up after that, that's one of those that you would just say, move on from it. Kind of like the Auburn loss, which that's bad when two of your last three games are burn the tape games. That's not a good look, but that it is what it is. That's the way the season ended up. We were 4-8, and overall it was a very disappointing season full of inconsistencies. We all saw it, and we all know. The OC hire, whether he was scapegoated or not, I don't think it was a great hire because changing the system when you should have known that the line was going to play as bad as it was, being a former O line coach. You need to see that writing on the wall. You need a coach. You need an offensive coordinator that's going to be able to run that quick, not have to block long plays and all that. It's I'd go on and on about that, but that's you saw a season where they fought on the road. There was a lot of one possession games early, and then I don't know if that just got in their head or just beat them down, like it did the fan base. I mean, that I sure it did, being so close and not being able to get over that hump. It all came together against Florida after the bye week, after you let go of your offensive coordinator. You had Kenny Guiden, who was fired up to call plays for the first time in his career. But that's it all came together, and it just all fell apart after that. That was you came out and laid an egg against Auburn, and then you beat FIU. But if you would have lost that game, I don't think Sam would have survived that. I mean, I don't think anybody would have survived that. That would have been a tragedy for sure. But it's the season is the season that was, and Rocket didn't live up to the hype because of injuries, which is no fault to his own. I mean, that is what it is. Injuries, and no, the line couldn't open the holes for anybody to run through. So I don't think uh, I don't think Christian McCaffrey could have ran through those holes. And we did see the first ever win at the Swamp, which was, I mean, that was awesome. That was kind of a perfect storm. Everything came together, and I kind of equate that one to how the Kansas win in the tournament last year was, where it was such an emotional win and there was such an emotional high after it that it just kind of all went downhill after that. But we ran into the emotional buzzsaw there, and it just kind of ended. Mercifully took us into the night with this past season. Now looking forward, I mean, it's we're gonna have to have a great off season this year if that seat's going to be cooled down at all, because we got to get a good OC. I think we need to look at a new line coach if that's the product that we got. I know they're friends and all that, and he's probably a solid coach, but it's just not. It looks like he's over his head because he's not there yet on at the Razorbacks. He had that good year, but we've had two bad years since then. So it was kind of a disappointment this year that everybody thought we were so high on it. But um, going forward, I mean, they need to hit the portal hard to try to get some linemen and get that fixed. I think Sam talked about that in the post game. He said that they need to get out there, and obviously something wasn't working, so we need to get out there and get it fixed. So whether that's getting a coach in that can coach up who we got plus the new guys, because we got to get some new guys. We'll see. That's the biggest need. That and a OC that can call plays that fits his team's strengths. Now, if you want to look at the positives going forward, as we sit, who knows with portal season opening up here what'll happen? But we have two stud tight ends that both got hurt this year as they were coming together to really take over this offense. And Luke Haas and Ty Washington, that tight end room is going to be pretty salty. Plus all the other talent that was there that needs to develop a little bit. The running back room, you got Isaiah, who really came on at the end of the year. Had 100 yards rushing against FIU, is what it is, but he got it. And then he had 80 yards against Missouri. A lot of that came late in the game, but whenever they put in their backups and stuff. But I mean, he's got that experience now, and he's getting after it. And then you got R Dub coming back off the injury, AJ Green, which he feels like he's been here forever, but I guess he hasn't, but he feels like one of those guys that's just been around forever. So we'll see how that turns out with the portal and all that. Hopefully, all these guys we can keep our talent that we need to keep here Hopefully we can keep them here. Defense looked solid all year. I mean, they were put in bad position after bad position after bad position after bad position this year. So hopefully they'll stay intact and they'll just keep developing. This staff I think is solid on defense. I don't know that we need to make any changes there. Just because they've been, if they were put in a better position, I think they would have been even better. I think they were one of the best scoring defenses in the country, which is crazy. But that's why we were in so many of those road games. Defense travels, so we just got to keep that rolling and keep that developing, and it's just going to get better and better. I think. Special teams. I mean, Cam Little's a stud. He'll be an NFL kicker. We need to get some return stuff figured out. We need to get some punting stuff situated and figured out. But that may be a change in the coaching staff that needs to happen. I'm not really sure on that, but we'll see how that looks. But this season is the epitome of super hype to crashing down. Even in the middle of the season, we thought it was going to turn around and be okay because we're in that murderer's row of the schedule where we had all those road games, and they looked like they played better on the road than they did at home, which I don't know what that was about. You would think they would, once they finally got home, they would be ready to roll, but it may just be that they were so tired by the time they got home that the depth wasn't there to be able to get the positions and the key positions in the right position to win. That's something that is very possible because I mean that was a tough. We knew going in that was a tough schedule. I had them going eight wins, possibly nine. Basically, I had them kind of like the Missouri this year, the Missouri record this year of 10-2. I kind of had them going that direction with the hopes of on the high end, with the hopes of us pulling some upsets that we really shouldn't have. And we were close to getting those upsets. It's the games that were basically a lock that in my mind going into it, which is never a lock, but I was very confident in the fact that we would get some of the wins. Those are the ones that we just absolutely got destroyed. Missouri, Auburn. I mean, Mississippi State, we didn't get destroyed on the scoreboard, but I mean, relatively a 7-3 loss at home after that road to a team that no longer has their coach. I mean, that should have been a win. A first year coach that didn't make it through the year. I mean, that should have been a win. And anyway, I digress. That was the football season we had this year, and it wasn't good for anybody. It's not good. It wasn't good for the players. wasn't good for the coaches. wasn't good for the fans. Wasn't good for local businesses. I mean, we all know this. It is what it is at this point. So hopefully they can get it turned around. If Hunter is staying with his Sam's our guy, and we're not moving on from him, then let's get out there and get a great offensive coordinator hire. And I mean, shoot, throw the bank at Jeff Traylor and have him come in as your OC and coach in waiting. Make him the highest paid OC in the country. I don't care. I mean, get a good guy. Get a good coach that has a proven track record to win. And if they have head coaching experience, that's even better because then that's somebody that Sam can help bounce things off of, bounce ideas off of. And there's a lot of introspective that he needs to take in to have the confidence to make the calls when he needs to make them, and just go for it, because that was a big thing we saw this year was burning timeouts that you needed later and doing different things that just because could make a decision and go with it. I mean, just make the decision, be confident in it, and run with it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but don't let that be what lingers on. Make the decision and go. Either kick the field goal, punt it, go for it. I mean, just make the decision and go. That'll come in time, but time's running out quickly here. So let's see what happens in the offseason, see who he gets in to um, build up the line, what OC we get in, and what the portal season's crazy. So I guess we have confidence in our NIL situation now that we didn't have a few weeks ago. So something happened there that boosted that up. Maybe Sam started a nonprofit or something and throwing some money around. I don't think that's legal, so I don't think he did that. But we'll see. That's the football season that was. We can bury it in the backyard now and never speak of it again, hopefully, and just keep on rolling. We'll keep watching the portal and we'll keep seeing what's happening. But we'll be right back after these messages and just see what happens. Hey, I'm Brian Small. I'm the owner of Gravity Design Labs. My mission is to help businesses launch or grow with branding and digital marketing. That means any graphic design, web design, or marketing needs you may have. I'm your guy. Find us on our website, gravitydesignlabs.com, or don't hesitate to reach out on Instagram at Gravity Design Labs. Remember, I'm a diehard Razorback fan too. Go Hogs! All right. Now, we've talked about the tragedy that was a football program this year. Let's talk about something that has a lot more potential since it's just ramping up now. We got the basketball team that just went to the Bahamas to play in a tournament. We had 3 games out there. Got fourth place, I guess, but that's all right. We played Stanford. That went to a double overtime, 77-74 victory, which that was the one game you got a victory in out there. So that's good. Even though it took two overtimes to get there, we still pulled out the win. T Mart, he had himself a tournament out there. He had 25 points in that one, and then we moved on to the semis against Memphis. That one was a tough loss. That one it was 84-79. The defense just had no answer for Jones. He was doing whatever he wanted on offense the entire game. I think he scored over 30, maybe 35 points in that game. So I mean that was rough. He may have had more than that. I can't even I've burned that one out of my memory on the points scored there, but it's all right. We played North Carolina, so that one's always going to be um, the ball is going to bounce in our favor anytime we play North Carolina. That's what history's taught us. Not at all. Not at all. And so that one was the epitome of a Team Arc show. He had a career high points, 35, and he was able to do. I mean, what Jones did to us, he was able to do to North Carolina. He was scoring any way he wanted. He was hitting threes. He was very rarely missing shots. He was playing some good defense. He was just absolutely trying to get us back in that game. But he had a late hard fall that he had to get taken out on a stretcher. And that was scary for everybody. I mean, that could have been very, very bad. And the good news now, now that a little bit of time has passed, we've seen that he put out on Twitter that, or X or whatever you want to call it, that he was able to be released from that local hospital and fly back with the team, which is huge. He's got to have MRIs and I'm sure a bunch of tests to see the extent. So we'll see if he's able to make it back for the Duke game that's coming up. I mean, you think about that. We had that tournament. We played Memphis, who will be a tournament team unless something crazy happens. North Carolina, that'll be a tournament team unless something crazy happens. Once again, they'll be both of those teams will be in the mix for sure for a decent seed. And then you've got right after that, you fly home, you get to rest for a few days, and then on the following Wednesday, you got Duke rolling into town, who is no joke. It's a top 10 team. There was a legitimate chance that this could have been a top 10 matchup if we would have taken care of some business in the Bahamas, but they've got Duke's got a 7-foot sophomore that leads the team with averaging over 18 points a game and over 6 rebounds a game, which is solid. I mean, that's good. Anytime you have a 7-footer, that means your big's got to come to play because I mean, we had game plan good against Purdue in the exhibition game that should have counted. Who Purdue looks like, I mean, they're rolling. They'll probably end up being the number 1 overall seed come March unless something unforeseen happens. I mean, they're a solid team, so we'll see how that shakes out. But that game plan really good for Edie in that one, so we'll see if we can game plan for Flip Flipowski. Man, look at that name. Um, to see how we can match up against him. I think Mitchell and Lawson and Brazil, they're all probably gonna rotate around on him. Mitchell had that one really good game that everything kind of came together for him, and then he's been getting in some foul trouble, and in the Bahamas he did. I take that with a grain of salt because I don't know about that officiating out there. I it was they were looking for some stuff I think down low on our guys and not as much on the other side. But that's it is what it is. You can't dig yourself into a 10-point deficit or a double digit deficit or a 9-point deficit, whatever the case may be, against a top 10 team like Duke and North Carolina. I mean they could end up being a top 10 team by the end of the year. It's very possible. So that's you can't dig yourself into that big of a hole and then expect to come out of it. We got to have the defense has got to step up a little more. They show flashes and I mean start the year the competition wasn't anywhere near what it is now, but the team looked I mean almost completely different. And I mean I don't know what's going on with them, but I have complete faith in Muss to get it all straight and turned around. That Purdue exhibition game may have been the downfall of the hopes right now because they look so good and they look like they were clicking and meshing and ready to go, almost like a March level Muss team. But now we're kind of back in that. Okay, let's get this confidence going. Let's get this chemistry going and just roll together. I think they'll behind a sold out crowd and just what I expect to be a rowdy crowd. I think that's going to be a great game, kind of like the Purdue exhibition. That was a real game. It should. I wish it counted in the record because that would be awesome, but it doesn't. So we can move on from that. But that's we'll see who can pick up where Mark kind of left left off. I mean that's you don't. I don't know what kind of if he'll be back at all or what kind of role he'll play in this game after that hard fall, but we'll just kind of see how he progresses. I don't. It's a quick turnaround, so I don't see him being able to get back out there that quick and have as big of a contribution as he's had in the Bahamas there. But I mean, who's going to score? Will Battle score? Will Davenport showed flashes? Bay Fall actually he looked fairly decent when the brief time he got in there against North Carolina. That was great to see. The freshman that and Blocker. Speaking of freshmen, Blocker he needs all the playing time he can get. I think he's playing with confidence. He's playing strong. He's playing good. I'm really excited to see where he goes this year because I mean he could build up and go and they have proven that they can score. It's just a matter of getting that confidence going and getting that chemistry and flow. Seeing the ball go in the hole. I mean that's what you gotta see. That always helps me. That's my in my horse games. If I see one go, I might make another one. I don't know. I may not though. But that's we'll see how it all shakes up there at Duke. I think it's going to be a good game. The crowd, I think it's going to be a great crowd on a Wednesday night. It'll be a lot of us may need a doctor's note to not have to get up and go to work early the next morning because we're going to need to stay for the whole thing this time, and it should be a game all the way through. I hope. UNC Greensboro came in last time they were in Bud Walton, and they beat us. That game, let's throw that game out of the schedule from now on. That's historically now. We won last year, but we lost our best player, and we lost this year. So that's they're good. I mean, we knew going into it. I said that it was going to be a game all the way through. I didn't expect us to lose, but I thought it was going to be a close, highly contested game. But we'll see that one come tournament time. That one may hurt us a little bit. Memphis and North Carolina will hurt us, but it may not hurt us as bad as that one. But I think by the end of the year, all three of those teams could very well be in the conversation for the tournament and a decent seed as far as the Memphis and North Carolina. They could definitely be in that conversation. UNC Greensboro, I mean, they won't be a high seed, but they could be a tournament team that knocks off I don't know, a 1 seed like a Purdue like last year. They lost to a 16 seed. So I mean, they're one of those teams that they're a veteran team, so who knows what could happen come tournament time. But I think they'll be in the mix of getting in for sure, without doubt. I mean, they're unless something crazy happens, that's what I'm going with that, and I'm sticking with that. So that's our basketball talk for now. We'll get back together and talk about it some more. Hopefully after a huge Duke win, and it's a whole nother ball game. Then we're not talking about two losses back to back, but we're talking about a huge top 10 win at home against a very good Duke team. So I expect that to be a good one, and the crowd needs to show up and show out. I'll be there. I may lose my voice at that one. We'll see. I think it's gonna be good. So we're gonna take another break, and when we return, we'll wrap it up and we'll kind of close it out. If you're like me, you like to wear comfortable t-shirts with fun designs. Big Red T Shop has you covered for all your sports and sports humor shirt needs. If you have a sports fan that you're looking for a gift for, or if you want one for yourself, go check out bigredtshop.com. That's Big Red Tee shop.com. All right. The football season has come to an end, thankfully, and the Hogs Hoops are in typical growing pains of a must team early on in the year, but they will definitely be a problem come March. I think they're going to get it pulled around. I mean, there's too much talent on this team not to pull it around. And we have a huge game coming up on Wednesday, the 29th against Duke. So, we're going to, as a crowd, we need to show up and show out for that one. It's going to be a good one. And so, if you stuck around this long, do me a favor, leave a like and subscribe to our social media channels and the podcast. To help me get the word out there. We're just starting out at this thing, so hopefully we can keep growing. And along with that.